Now Nikolai Chekhov had become my home, and with him came enough misery to last me a lifetime. To me, home was a cursed word, but why was a voice in the back of my mind whispering darkly, telling me that perhaps it was in fact the opposite? That I'd been wrong all this time. It was then when I came to the conclusion that there was something seriously wrong with me and that I would have a very, very difficult time not letting it show. Deep down all of us had a little madness, some more than others. Cracks were forming in the paper-thin wall that restrained mine. 6. 7. I'd spent the majority of the past week hidden in my room in an attempt to avoid Nikolai. In order to keep the little sanity I had left, I tried my hardest to shut the memories of what happened between us away. My head hurt when I thought of how my body reacted to his touch. How I ached for more, but that would soon have to come to an end. I now lived with the man and would inevitably have to see him soon. Or perhaps I could get away with not leaving my room for just one more day before he came looking for me. A deep sigh escaped me as I gazed at my reflection. I was sitting at the vanity table and brushing my hair, despite the fact that it didn't really need any more brushing. My cheeks were flushed a healthy pink, but it was the exact opposite of how I felt inside. My heart was cold and dead, killed by my constant dark thoughts. A lone tear slipped out of the corner of my eye as I fought the urge to curl up into a ball and sob. My depression grew stronger with each day in captivity. Why should I even bother to leave my room when Nikolai had made it clear that I couldn't even leave the house? Here I didn't have to talk to anyone, but the comfort of silence only made the screaming within my mind grow louder. Memories of my past had broken free of their chains and now constantly bounced around in my head. It was enough to bring anyone to insanity. So consumed with self-pity, I failed to notice the dark shadow fall over the open window. I dropped my hairbrush and flopped down onto the bed with a groan. Lately sleep had become a privilege instead of an essential, leaving me perpetually exhausted. A shrill scream escaped me when I felt something warm and heavy jump onto my back, and then slowly walk up to my shoulders. I shrieked again when the enormous furry creature made itself comfortable on the pillow right in front of my face. Holy shit! I placed a hand on my chest as I tried to steady my breathing. Where did you come from? The cat surveyed me with big green eyes and made it clear that it had no intention of moving. And how did you even get in here? I frowned at it. Are you Nikolai's? I let out a high-pitched yell and jumped off the bed when the animal decided to pounce at my hand without warning. The bedroom door suddenly flew open, and in walked Nikolai wielding a gun in one hand and an axe in the other. I heard you scream. He searched the room for any sign of a threat, looking deadly as ever. There's a cat, I began explaining, but screamed again and ran across the room when the creature decided to approach me. Kakogo Chiota, what the hell? He sighed and lowered the weapons. Don't tell me you were scared of cats. I'm not scared of them. I huffed. They just freak me out a little. My words were immediately contradicted as I quickly ran and hid behind Nikolai when the cat decided to once again try to get near me. Kasha won't hurt you. His deadly weapons lay discarded on the floor as he picked up the cat before it could get too close to me. He just likes you. He woke me up by jumping on my head. I grumbled as Kasha purred happily in Nikolai's arms. He is only curious. There has not been a young woman here since his last owner, he explained. You look a little like her, actually. Who was she? I asked curiously. My youngest sister. Sorrow danced in his eyes. She died a while ago, but he has not forgotten her. Oh. I'm sorry for your loss. Her death has long since been avenged, he said. Moving on. There is a reason why I am here. I sleepily rubbed at my eyes. I don't know you and you don't know me. That needs to change if we are going to be married, spoke Nikolai, which is why we are going to be spending more time together, starting today. Get dressed and meet me downstairs in an hour. With that, he picked up his weapons and left the room. Kasha stopped to survey me once more before following closely behind. Since I was already bathed, I dashed over to the closet and slipped on a simple pair of shorts and a crop top. Despite the fact that I'd brought some of my own clothes along, the closet had been stocked with more clothing than I could count. I would never admit it aloud, but that was pretty cool. I tied my hair up in a high ponytail and then left the room in search of Nikolai. Thanks to the tour of the estate that he'd forced me to take, I sort of knew my way around the enormous building. "About time," spoke the man when he saw me, even though I'd only taken less than 10 minutes to get ready. "Where are we going?" I asked, ignoring his statement. "The garden," he replied and placed a hand in the small of my back as he led me down a long corridor. "You are going to be my muse. It's been a while since I last had something decent to paint." "You paint?" I frowned. "It's a hobby," he shrugged. "Keeps me focused." I did not see that one coming. I muttered, "Why do you such difficulty believing that I paint?" Questioned Nikolai. "You kill people and manufacture drugs for a living." I deadpanned. "I feel that such an occupation leaves little time for art." "So?" He raised an eyebrow. "Am I supposed to use the blood of my enemies as paint? Will that make it more convincing?" "I wouldn't be surprised if you do." I rolled my eyes. The two of us stepped out of the building and onto the vast grounds of the estate. There were many different types of gardens on the property, but Nikolai walked over to the closest one, a rose garden. "Take a seat." He gestured to a bench not far from where his easel and blank canvas was. "So what am I supposed to do?" I asked after awkwardly watching him stare at me for a few moments. "Just sit still," he replied while mixing his paints. "We're using this time to get to know one another, so I'll ask you questions and you can do the same." "All right," I shrugged. "Ask away. What do you enjoy doing in your free time?" Was his first question. "I really like old films, so I watch a lot of those. Also, I guess I'm an outdoorsy person, so I'm often hiking or swimming. Books are cool too, but I can't remember when last I actually read one," I answered. "What about you?" "I paint often and I too enjoy literature and the outdoors." "At least we've got something in common," he replied. "So tell me, Rosalie, if you hadn't decided to, become a stripper, which career path would you have chosen?" Since I was supporting myself on minimum wage jobs until I started working at the club, I couldn't afford college, I said while trying to keep as still as possible as Nikolai began sketching me. "But if I could, I would have become a pediatrician or a psychologist, maybe even a preschool teacher." "So you like children?" He looked serious as ever, although the corner of his mouth tiled up slightly. "That is good. I will give you one soon. Have you ever had a child before?" The question slipped out without much thought. "Twice." "Nearly," replied Nikolai after a while. "I got someone pregnant when I was a young teenager, but she died soon after. And my ex-wife had a miscarriage." "Oh." My eyes briefly met with his. "Wait, you've been married before?" "Yes. From age 26 to 28, was his response. "It was arranged, like the way we'll be married?" I inquired. "No, our relationship is strictly business," explained Nikolai. "Things were different with her. It's tradition for people in crime families to have arranged marriages, so my father found her the 17-year-old daughter of a wealthy ally of his, and thought she was perfect for me. He was wrong. I at least tried to make things work between us, but she is absolutely fucking deranged. I left her for dead when she attempted to sabotage my business and have me killed, but the bitch somehow survived." "Wow." My eyebrows shot up. "If your first marriage was so bad, then why are you so eager to try the marriage thing again? Like I've told you before, I need an heir and a woman at my side. Every respectable man rules with a partner. I wish to do the same," he replied, "and since I'm positive that my ex-wife induced her miscarriage, I want to have full control over the woman carrying my child. Someone I can constantly keep an eye on." "You are perfect. When do you want me to get pregnant?" I winced at the thought. "Do we wait a few years or?" "The child will be conceived on the night of our wedding," he said simply. "If you insist on being a prude and not wanting sex, then I will artificially inseminate you myself. I need to be sure that nothing is tampered with and that the child really is mine." "You've got trust issues of note," I stated, not wanting to hear any more about his plans. "And you definitely need to see a shrink." "Oh, I tried, but then I killed him," said Nikolai seriously. "The bastard tried telling me that I have to stay at an institution for a while. I am perfectly fine. just a little stressed. There is no hope for you. I rested my head in my hands. Oh God, I'm marrying a psycho. Get into position. He suddenly snapped, making me jump. You keep moving and it's fucking with my brain. I'm trying to paint here. I don't want to get pregnant. Well, not now anyway. I was unable to hold my words back. I'm only 19. I don't care. He sent me a cold look. I brought you here with the intention of having you as my wife to give birth to my children. That is what you will do, even if I have to strap you down when you're inseminated. His words disgusted me so much that I couldn't even look at him, so I focused my attention on a nearby rose bush and remained silent. I liked children, yes, but I most certainly didn't want Nikolai's spawn growing inside of me. The mere thought nauseated me. Any child I gave birth to would grow up to call this monster father. Rosalie. His voice held a warning. Look at me. I ignored him and kept my eyes downcast. If you don't fucking behave yourself, no. My voice was a shaky whisper. At this point I didn't fear death. My life was shit and always had been. At least now I could go out having used my every last moment to defy the man who was hellbent on making me suffer while saying that he was protecting me from harm. He was the worst harm I could ever experience. Fuck Nikolai Chekhov. I couldn't do this anymore. Men had brought me pain all my life. At least in death I would find refuge because right now I had absolutely nothing to live for. What the fuck did you just say? He growled. No. I repeated. I don't even want to see you. You disgust me. In the blink of an eye, the mountain of a man was in front of me and had a large hand wrapped around my neck. You were not saying that when I had my fingers inside your pussy as you trembled in my arms. He spoke darkly into my ear. Yet I disgust you. Okay. You caught me in a moment of weakness. I cringed away from the hand that gently caressed my cheek, while the other dug into the tender skin of my neck. You are mine and it's time you accept that, Kroshka. Little one. He glowered at me. Disobedience will result in your death. You know that, so why are you acting like this? I don't care anymore. I hissed. Kill me. Just get it over with. I'm tired of this shit. Nikolai seemed to actually be considerate for a moment. No. He decided. It's too late for that. You are already part of the plan. You will be the one I marry and you'll have my children. I never change my plans. Deranged prick. Frustration was evident in my tone. Your therapist was right. You need to be locked up in a mental hospital for the rest of your life. We are all insane, was all he said. Some just handle it better than others. And then he proceeded to forcefully place me back into the position I'd been sitting in for the past half an hour as he sketched me. Could my life get any worse? Yes. The answer was always yes. 7. 8. Lolita spoilers ahead, in case you haven't read the book yet. Tragic. We've got a long day ahead of us, Princessa. Princess, Nikolai's deep voice awoke me. It's nearly 2 p.m. so wake up and get dressed. Why? I opened my eyes with a groan and gazed up at the suit-clad man. Where are we going? You're coming with me to a gala this evening. It's about time I introduced my new fiancé to society. He replied, I know how long women take to get ready for these things. You better start now. We leave at 5. What should I wear? I sat up and stretched. Something tight. He smirked before leaving the room. Shit. Now I had to meet all of his little criminal buddies and I was already dreading it. After spending the majority of yesterday glaring at the man while he painted me, I went straight to bed and fell into a fitful slumber but still found myself irritable and moody when I woke up. Right now I wanted nothing more to just sleep and forget all about Nikolai Chekhov, about his plans for me. But no. Tonight was my first debut as his new piece of arm candy and I had to get dressed. What to wear though? I knew that formal wear was essential for an event like a gala, but which type? With the way I styled my appearance, I could choose how I wanted to come across to people. Did I want to look mature, sexy, young and innocent?